Rabbi, I want to thank Kav Ishkacha Pratis and Kav and Kaloloshin and Torah Anytime and Rabbi Yosef Yafi. Now, Rabbi say, we had a yid here from Chicago. He was a Rav in Chicago. His name was Rav Ram Leib Shur. He was a Talmud of Slobodka from way back. And Reb Shnei Zatzal used to invite him to speak in Lakewood. And he was great. I thought I was in Slobodka. And the way I understood it, Reb Aaron wanted the Olam to see a little taste of maybe the other name, but for sure that's what we got. I thought I was in the way he talked and the way he was. He once said he's not really close to the Eibishter these days. It was Elul. He says he remembers back in Slobodka. The way how close he was with the Eibishter. A certain Yom Narayim, he felt very close. Being close to the Eibishter. And then he used to cry when he said, Voy Hashem al Melech al Kol Haaretz. He was Meradik. I remember he said on Yosef HaTzadik, how come the brothers didn't mechap who he was? He said, a lot of people say, that's a pashtelt. He put up an act. That's what I remember him saying that. He spoke beautiful stuff. Now I heard, he has his Einakol here in Lakewood, a very chashuv, he's a Rashiva today. His Einakol was once packing his stuff, and he put on a tape of Reb Chatzkel. Now he loved Reb Chatzkel Levenstein. Reb Chatzkel, that was his man. Now, I'm not saying Chas v'Chalila, nobody should take it the wrong way. But he couldn't, when he turned on Reb Chatzkel's shmuzin, he says, I can't listen to this. Now, why not? Now, I want to explain something. There's a type of shmuz that is good for some people, and for some people it's no good. There are certain shmuzin that are, some people, it's from a raid. I can't hear that. It's not for me. Now, there's a different chinuch understands, is sensitive to a certain shmuz could chas v'sholom be detrimental to what you're here for. For someone else, it's Gan Eden. For you, it's no good. I try to avoid certain type of shmuzin because in my world, they awaken all the midas that I'm trying to run away from. There's enough negativism going on. It's not for me. It might be for someone else. I can't handle it. It puts me in a certain mode. The next day I'll be angry. I'll be developed tinus on frumkeit. I don't say anything wrong with frumkeit. I think nowadays whatever you do is good. So be frum. So what? And nowadays everything's good. But there's a lot of kilkulim come from I had certain issues that I was very strong about, that I felt this is right, that's wrong, and I used to fight for it, and I was good at it, and people respected me for it. And through the years, I says, drop that whole business. It ain't healthy for you. It's not for you. It's the side of you that you want to get rid of, you're awakening that side. You want to be a kanoy, l'mashal. Kanoyis. In Slobodka, they weren't good with that. Hagam Rabbi Miller was a tremendous kanoy. And they say that Rabbi Isaac Sher was also like that. So nothing's pashut. But there is a motion against it depending who, what, when. Sometimes it's not healthy for the person. It's pashut, not kedai. You lose too much out of it. But I was told in Novandik, Grada, I was told, Cyber of Gershon and Cyber of Nosson, to be a kanoi. Yaakov Mikolain. Kanois is gevaldig. I've had situations where I came out publicly saying something that was very, very, very appropriate. Shegitz once came to, I was on the staff of a certain yeshiva, and the Shegitz came in. He had to show things, demonstrate, and he did things that, in our way of thinking, according to the rules of an elachiyid, you don't do that. And he was a Shegitz, he didn't chap, and people he was an important Shegitz that was coming special, whatever, to show everybody certain things. And I opened my mouth for Robin. And I said, excuse me, sir, this is orthodox. We are orthodox. We don't do that stuff. I said it right there in front of everybody because I had to stop him in the middle. He was in the middle of doing something that was very inappropriate. In his world, it's like lechatchila. And by us, I was once in a Maisa, I was once in a car, and there was Lashon Hara going on, full blast ahead. And usually, guy talks Lashon Hara, I disappear. I avoid, that's my style, but there are call. When you're stuck in a car, and you can't get out of there, I hinted a little bit until finally I exploded. I says, I'm not listening to that stuff. So I could be a kanoi sometimes. I've done these things. I try to avoid that. It comes way too easy for a guy like me to do that. You don't do stuff that's way too easy. What's hard? I just spoke to a guy today. He holds he's not worth a penny. I says, for you, not being not worth a penny comes easy money. Am I right or wrong? He says, 100%. I do it by habit since I'm born. And that's why he's going through Gehenna. Don't ask what the guy's going through. For that reason, he thinks he's a zero. So I told him that you're going to start working. It's hard to hold from yourself. That's my proof that it's the truth. Something that's hard, that's breaking your midas. To hold from yourself is breaking your midas. You'll get schar. Work on it. It's hard work to hold from yourself. Very hard. So, how important it is. I was told a slabot geshmuz, how important it is to love people. They desperately need you to love them, your own children especially. Now I'm going to tell you a pshat. First I'm going to tell you, I once said this before. I heard this from Chaim Fogel, the G'dayli Talmidei Chevron, Talmud of Rameh Chodesh Zatzal. So Adam Gadol Ma'oid, he's not Shayach. He's an Oived Hashem. He says he loves every minute of his life because every move he makes is thought out. It's to do the Ratzon Hashem. I'm not ready for that. Not so fast. An American Harry, every move I make. You're going to start with every move I make. You're going to end up, every move you make, watch out, should be Ratzon Hashem. You want to end up, I might as well call the Mishigaim hoes now and send you, hey, we got a new customer. He's careful every move he makes. You know, you got my sugar. You can't do it. The Abishah does not want you to do things. For him, it's good. It's not for me. I can't. But I'm a sugar for them. You can be taught, by the way. That's why I want to bring Novandik back, because Novandik, if you have a way of thinking, you can do things you never thought you could do. It's the way of thinking. You wait. You enjoy things that yesterday was impossible. But in this world today, you can't do that. That's why I'm always telling people, can you learn 10 minutes a day, mostly, you know? If I dare say an hour, I'm out of business. There's the guy used to sit right here, a Tyra guy, see this younger man. So he told me like this, Mandel, if you would tell us 10 minutes, maybe we'd listen. But you're busy saying an hour Musa. Everyone looks at you like, oh, what else is new? An hour Musa a day. You lost us. You don't say that. If you know it's good for you. I remember Rav Langleman used to tell me, 10 minutes. Rav Shlomo Valba spoke in the Mir Yeshiva, in the Mir Shtibel in Borough Park. He spoke and the whole place was packed. Rabbi Kreiser was there. And they were all listening. He was hanging on every word he said. And he said, Musa, 10 minutes. 20 minutes. I was looking, whoa, that's it? Musa a day? 10 minutes? And I say, halavai. Halavai, 10 minutes. You gotta know who you're talking to. And Rav Langleman, the same thing. 10 minutes, that took 10 minutes. Learn 10 minutes a day, Musa. And once he told me under his breath about somebody, well, if you're a real pickle, a whole night of Musa, best thing to do. I heard a Maisa with a Novandik guy in New York. Half of the Gemaisa, they say his daughter was not well. She was physically, mentally in the garbage can. And this is what I heard. I wasn't there. He learned Musa all night long about that girl. In the morning, she was cured, A short while later, she got married. She lived happily ever after. Unbelievable. A whole night Musa can do things. Speaking of a whole, I'm curious. What in the world was he doing? But he cured her in the night. Look, you want to hear stories? Oh boy. This fellow, I think I told this fellow, happened about 10 years ago. Venezuela. The guy calls me up from Venezuela. He has schizophrenia for 20 years. You heard this already? You didn't hear? Okay, here goes. You heard it. Schizophrenia. You know what schizophrenia is? This is serious business. He's afraid to eat in public. He's petrified of the world. And he has a certain medication that without the medication he's dead meat. And then one day he heard Mandel. That's me. Heard Mandel making jokes out of everything. And before you take something, go to the Abishter. You're making it better than me. So for 3-4 days, he always made it. He used to do that. That he always did. But for 3-4 days, he added Mandel's prescription. This stuff does not really help. It's the Abishter that's making me better. And he said it very stark. 3-4 days. That's the lashon he told me. The next day, he lost his pills. And he didn't get excited. He said, the pills aren't necessary anyway. You kept repeating it. The guy had a refuah shalem. And in the past, whenever he forgot his pills, he said, this is terrible, and it became terrible. He said it's terrible, and it became terrible. You say, whatever you say, that's what happens. You have a kayak when you say things. And the guy's cured. You know what schizophrenia is? It's serious. This is not kinderspiel. Schizophrenia. The man has a bundle of nerves. He's afraid to breathe, to do this, do that. And he's cured. I don't believe it myself. If he wouldn't tell me, I wouldn't believe it. I didn't know it was such a big bomb like this. Anyway, I'm going to tell you another Misa, speaking about, I heard this, there was somebody here from Bnei Brak. His Zayda was in a Varda who put out a sefer called Mavakesh Hashlemus. The sefer is fire lane. It's no volume. You see, this man was Kodesh Kedoshim. He needed a shidduch. The Chazon Ish read him a shidduch. He sits down with the girl, and lo and behold, she's a hiker. You know what that means? A hiker. She's bent over. She never fell off a horse when she was young, and for the rest of her life, she needs a Zaykif Gefufim, which wasn't happening. And he took a look, oh no, what did they read me? A hiker, that's like marrying an official, officially he blew it, you married a hiker. Hashem Yerachem, a wife hiker. She's out, Nebuch. So, now I want to say something, and I want to be cute, and maybe it's not that I want to be cute, I may have hit it on the nail. Why did the Chazon Ish read this good-looking bacher? I heard he was dafka very good. He was put together, the real thing. Hiker. So I say a simple teretz. Chazon Ish too. You can't sell it to a normal guy. Novandig will do the job. Give it to a Novandig. He was up all night learning Musa. All night long he was learning Musa. I heard this from the Yenikel. And he was learning Musa. Every 15 minutes he started crying. Who's going to marry the poor girl? All night long. Who's going to marry the poor girl? Every 15 minutes. In the morning, he got up. That's a shidduch. And he married 8 children, beautiful family. Married a hiker. Unbelievable. David Blacha, how did he get married? David Blacha said, I am marrying the next girl that pops up. And Novandig, closed esrog boxes. That's the way they get married. Well, what's the difference? You're going to have nisyonis, so this the same, that the same. Everything is nisyonis. Like Rabbeinu here says, Avraham Avinu, why are you such a happy person? Because he wasn't interested in having. He was interested in doing. By sameach means tzameach. Simcha means growth. Growth is everything. But today, you tell somebody, ooh, you'll steig from such a crazy matzav that you have. Please, don't give me the steig business. I don't want no crazy matzav. But if you are raised, Avraham Avinu says, Abina Hirsch. Avraham Avinu's mentality was, how can I grow? Unbelievable. That's why he came to my Sakeda. He had no problem with that. Another Nisayan. Everything's Nisayanis. Rav Weinkratz's sons told me his father used to say, in every move, it's a Nisayan. Once you hear, oh, it's a Nisayan. Oh, it's a Nisayan. You know, the people aren't real anymore. The matzav isn't real anymore. It's a test. Don't get so stressed out. And you came here for tests. I heard from Matcha Schwab, without Nisyanis, what's the kunz? What are you worth? You had a class test. You got to hammer this in your whole life. That's why Nobhardicas wanted to live alone, away from others, because the rest of the world, they're not interested in Nisyanis. They're interested in, but what's the matzav? Is it good or not? I tell people, look at what you look like. When people are Aymed ben Asayan, you know, there's a good feeling that, you know, it's in the next world. Chavetz Chaim, I once saw you said the main thing is the next world. What do you look like? They open you up and see the kinna is gone, the taiva is gone, you're pure. Look at what a beautiful face you have. That's the ikka of your life. Look who you are becoming. You're an Ovid. That's the main thing. You are always working. That's plenty good. It doesn't matter what you become so much, but look what you look like, an Ovid. That's gewaldig. Anyway. So what was I saying? So the David Blacha needs a shidduch. Now he was a star. He was a chavrusa of Rabbi Avram Grudzinski in Slobodka. Avram Grudzinski was, if I'm not mistaken, Chavetz Chaim said on him that I'm Mechaba Sfarim, the Alder in Slobodka is Mechaba people. Rabbi Avram Grudzinski was a Malach Hashem Tzvaka. His daughter just put out a book of Shlomo Wolbe's wife. She was a Malach herself. I saw one time the way she ate. Oh, she was royalty. She was in charge of every move she made. Oh, this is class. Avram Grudzinski. He was the number one man in Gan Slobodka. He was the Alta's Yerush. He took over and he was not shy of Teres Avram, his sefer. Shlomo Wolbe's father-in-law. Avram Grudzinski. What was I saying about it? Huh? Oh, he was his chavrusa. Shtel's the far Abdullah Blacha was his chavrusa. And then he left Slobodka, and for 2 years, he wasn't sure. Slobodka, Slobodka. He bumped into the Alta from Nobhardok. The Alta did a job on him, and he said, okay, he's becoming Nobhardok. Not only he became Nobhardok, there's a picture of him smiling. He looks like $1 million. Every picture of him, he looks like he's oozing with simcha. He was the real, Reb Gershon told me, he was the real Yerush of Nobhardok. He was real Nobhardok. And in his sefer, there's a lot of Slobodka taste in there. I guess Nobhardok and Slobodka have in common. A lot of Gadlus Odom sitting there. Beautiful. Sefer is a classic. All the mashkichim, they say, wanted to get hold of it. I have one copy, the Rabino Musa. It's unbelievable. That's a sefer that has, the Alta says, every hitter of Bטחון must come true. Every thought of Bטחון, and when you need it most, it's going to be working for you. Every hitter, every thought of Bטחון must, he says it b'shem the Alta. He has stuff there, it's nerve-wracking. What? Yeah, if you don't feel it, even better, because you're suffering from tzara agra. If you're trying to work on Bטחון and it's not going, now you're for sure you're going to make it. Because all the film tzara agra. I heard this from my Rabbi. Rabbi's I checked. From tzara, you know, no one believes in from tzara agra. You had a nest, a Musa say that where nothing's going in, and nothing's happening, and nothing, but you sat there. You're going to make it for sure. From tzara agra. What's going on? It's for sure. But it's totally in you. You have to believe in the from tzara agra. To get you to believe in that, the Bali Tshuva have such a hard time. Bali Tshuva has such a hard time believing that their Aveira turned into a mitzvah. You know what happens to Bali Tshuva? That Aveira that you created is a nasty malach that as soon as you're nifta, even when you're alive, he's out to get you. If something happens, it was that malach. You created him with your lashon hara, with your kas. Whenever you did something bad, your taivas, you created a bum who was out to kill you. That's why when you're nifta, they all say, hello, remember me? And there's tons of them all over the place. Remember that time you got angry at your wife? You created me. Now I'm going to get you for that. Oh, remember that time the jealousy, remember? You made me. Remember what you did here? They're all over the place. The bad malachim, they're all over. And when you do tshuva, that bad malach turns around and becomes your best friend. Same guy. Turns around, here's from Yitzchak. He turns around, he becomes your best friend. You got any problems in the next world? I'm out to save you. You did tshuva. You created me. That nasty, big, giant, wicked malach is me, except I'm white. And I love you. And I'm here to help you. Because you did tshuva. Unbelievable. What about tshuva? But who believes in tshuva? Who believes in tshuva? It's so hard. Nah. He's not the same anymore. You know what he did? Oh. How did David HaMelech live with the Chet of Bathsheba? And a Maisa like that? How did anyone invite there? David HaMelech was an Eved Hashem, Otzasi David Abdi, it says. David was an Eved Hashem. He made it. He's good. He's bad. I worked. I try. That's all I'm here for. Father called him the David Chata. But his door didn't seem to feel like that. He got it all over the place. Achisaifa wanted to kill him with his own bare hands because Bathsheba was his granddaughter. He enlisted he told Absalom, you're afraid to kill your father? I'll do the job myself. He held it's a mitzvah to kill this man. What he did to my granddaughter, Bathsheba? Achisaifa was a goal of Israel. Achisaifa was his chavrusa, by the way. And David was afraid of him. He's the only person David was afraid of because he knew all David's secrets. He was his Talmud, I don't know what you call him. He was his Rebbe. He called him his Rebbe. And he knew, he used to was Oved Hashem with Achisaifa. And Achisaifa knew all about him. I'll destroy him. When he heard that Achisaifa was on Absalom's side, he started crying, Eibishter, Hafer Atzas Achisaifa Hashem. That was his biggest concern. I typed it up. It wasn't because Achisaifa was so brilliant. It says, whoever asked Achisaifa a shayla, it's like you're asking the Umatum, you're asking Eibush himself. If you got him on your side, you won the war. There's no way out of that. Because it's like asking Hashem and Eitzah. He's got all the right moves. He's going to do it. He'll make his side is a winning team. But I tied it a different reason why he was so afraid of him. As soon as he found out, Achisaifa B'Kaishrim, it says, he's a rebel too? Oh no. Then David really went, I tied a different reason. Because Achisaifa symbolized David's Aveira. Because he was out to get David for the sin. You're shepherding me for my sin. Oh, that's the way I see it. Anyway, because David wasn't really afraid of anything. When he did an Aveira, probably Achisaifa and Shimei ben Gera threw rocks at him. You know what he said? Bathsheba's, I see her right there. You're not ashamed? The Aveira you did, now she's your wife, lived happily ever after. You're not embarrassed? He threw rocks at him. You're a melech? What kind of melech are you? That's why, by the way, he chose Shimei ben Gera to be his son Shlomo's tutor, because somebody who's not afraid of a king like that, he's Sinei Hadras Panim Badin, Sanhedrin. He was Rosh Sanhedrin. So Rosh Sanhedrin is not scared of nobody. You know the Shim ben Shatach? The Yanei Melech came in, and he said he was a cutthroat, and his specialty was cutting throats of Bnei Torah. So now his Ebed did something. He killed somebody. He heard this was his Ebed. And so, and he came to court in front of Bezdin, and Shim ben Shatach gets up and he says, Yavai Baal Ashur, the Baal Ashur has to come to Bezdin. I want the owner here. You're a shur, you're an Ebed, you killed somebody. Somebody owns you. I want your master, which is a king. Yanei HaMelech, the Rasha who hates Bnei Torah, and ruthless, what he was. So he came, and then he said, and he sat down, and he says, Yanei HaMelech Amoid Araglecha, Get up on your feet. The halacha is you got Yavoy Baal Ashur, but Yamoid Al Shur, you got to stand up and Beis Din. He let me tell him he was Beis, not scared of him. Rosh Sanhedrin. So Yanei Malach takes a look, he sees there's 36, there's 71, the Bezdin of 71 people. In Lishka, there it wasn't Yerushalayim, it was before. No, it wasn't Yerushalayim, what are you talking? The second Beis HaMikdash, Yanei Malach, yeah. So he says, Yanei Malach says, okay, that's what you say. I want to see the other members of Sanhedrin also speak to me the way you're speaking to me. No, let's hear them. Put me in my place the way you're doing that. Soinei Hadras Panabadin. That's Sanhedrin. Soinei. Loisoguru Mipneish. You're not scared of nobody. Mishbel Olikimi. Rosh Sanhedrin has no fear of anything. I'm head of Sanhedrin. Fapax the whole world. And he let him. So Shem Ben Shattach takes a look to the right, and all the Sanhedrin make believe, I don't know, they're thinking, they're busy, I didn't notice. He looks to the left, they do the same thing, and he got upset, and he said, you make like your Bali Machshavas, you're deep in thought, maybe she should get you back for what you did. Gabriel Hamalach came flying down, he killed the whole Sanhedrin, threw them all on the floor. See, you're afraid of an Adam, and from then on they made no more ain't done. It's a Gemara in second parak of Sanhedrin. So you can't be Don a king, except Malchus Beit David. Malchus Beit David, they're different type of people. But all the kings, look what happened here. Everyone's scared of a Melech. Oh, don't start with no kings. Anyway, but the Rosh Sanhedrin is not a joke. Shimon Ben Shattach was not scared of nobody. And Shimon Ben Gera was Rosh Sanhedrin, not scared of nobody. And he was Mordechai Eltazeda. And Mordechai was a Rosh Sanhedrin. And Haman, go hang yourself. He ain't scaring me. You can see everyone else is Bakari Mishtachim al-Haman. Not me. Oh no. I fuck you. That Mordechai was an anicle of Shimon Ben Gera. Anyway, so Shimon Ben Gera was one of those people throwing rocks at David. He wasn't afraid of David. That's the time that's why in the end, not only David didn't kill him, but David said, I'll use him for my son's tutor. Best tutor is Rosh Sanhedrin. He's not scared of a Ben Melech. You see the way he's not scared of me. So he can put him in his place. Otherwise, all the tutors, he won't get a chinuch because they're all scared of him. That's my pshat. Anyway. But what are you up to? Yeah. They had him all over the place. Shimon Ben Gera cursed him. Klonim retzes. Noyef. Reitzeach. Mamza. Nimretzes. Tayeva. He said this in public. Or Rosh Sanhedrin. And he threw rocks at him. So David didn't want to kill him. So, we know the story. So anyway, but one of the tinus he had on him was, there's Bathsheba right there. He got embarrassed. So Shimon Ben Gera had it in for him. Several had it in for him. And there's a medrash, Klal Yisrael got together. I don't know exactly the setting, but a group of Yidden said, here goes a melech. Nifsha with an Eishis ish. He killed a husband and married a wife. Whoever heard of such a thing? So David HaMelech got up and he said, Eishis ish is bechenek, but he gets Elam Haba. Malba Pnei Chaveri Barabim, Ein Lechelik Elam Haba. That's the story. David had to defend himself all his life. But that chait, nobody. And when he was nifta, finally, when they brought his aron to the Shlomo Melech, wanted to get the gates of the Beis Hamikdash open. They wouldn't open until he said, "Bavur David Avdecha al Tashev Pnei Mashiachecha." And the gates opened up. As soon as those gates opened up, it says, when that happened, all David's enemies' faces became black like a pot, the bottom of a pot. That's what they fought. After he was nifta, imagine how did he live with such a chait? The whole world, they were out there, it's not shaykh. How do you live with a chait? That's why David HaMelech is our example. You be an Ibn Hashem, do the best you can. But believing in tshuva is so hard. How do you believe that you're better than before? God, give me a break. You messed up. There was a certain Chassidish Rebbe, I don't want to say who, that the Shaila was, who's the next Rebbe? Of a certain Chassidus. And the Shmuel was one of the sons he's going to be. Why? Because during the war, he was the most eisgehalt. He didn't do things that were maybe so-so. In the bad times, he was. So I take a look. His brothers were malachim, tzaddikim, gemurim. For whatever reason, if somebody was messed up along the road, they'd passel him. He's no good. Yeah. Person does an aveira. I just spoke to somebody. Or whatever, he's got aveira situations. He has no self-esteem. People with aveiras, it's not kedai to sin for the self-esteem issue alone. It's not kedai. You know what it does to you? Especially certain aveiras, they can almost kill you. It's very hard to hold yourself with a sin because the seichel HaPashut does not believe in tshuva. The guy's doing tshuva. He's trying. He's this. I respect all these guys, and I tell them, I hold you Gavaldi. Look at me. Yeah. Try to make me feel good. B'chlal, I hold from Bal Yisurim big time. I be'etzem do. Bal Yisurim, everyone calls them Nebuch. And Amuna in my books. And Alman and Amuna. Oh boy. I'm in awe. You know what the Vilna Gaon said about his mother? Her greatest accomplishment in life was being an Almana for 22 years. You know what Almana is? She's Kaidish Kadashim. She has Yisurim. She doesn't have all the... Abal Yisurim is so holy. People don't appreciate. You know what Abal Yisurim means? If you're a quiet guy and you feel out of place, you're big time Abal Yisurim. Or you're married and things are so-so and your fault yet. Big time Abal Yisurim. If you have all these issue people, they don't chap. They don't chap the greatness. B'chlal. Vayar Hashem ki snua leah vayiftach es rachma. The Alvin Kelm. A bomb. There's no greater, the vot of the universe. Not because she was a tzaddikus. Not because she davened. Snua. They don't like me around here. You are going to be the mother of the lion's share of Klal Yisrael. Kahuna, Leviah, Malchus, because you're snua. Anybody goes, now don't be disappointed, but I don't think too many people are really snuas. They think they are. They read the Chayin Cup. I know what they think of me. Nah, he's got my number. He thinks I'm one of those. We go around with all this garbage. It's baloney. The guy's isn't thinking of you. He's worried about himself all day long. But everybody feels like he's a snua. So listen, if you feel you're a snua, it's good enough. But you're not. They love you. It's good enough. I say if people would come attend their own levayas, they should take a levaya and bring it back a couple of years before the guy was nifta. And he should hear what they planned to say. He was not going to die so fast. He's going to hang around many long, happy, healthy years. So I love this stuff. I didn't know they held so much from me. But some people say, don't worry so much. Somebody once went to a levaya and he heard and he says, I knew that guy. I didn't know this and that. He said, don't worry, when you die, they'll lie just they'll say the same lies for you. What's it up, Kabita? So, but anyway, if a person could only attend his own funeral, it's a shut. So I don't waste no time. I don't waste no time. I am busy being maspid myself every single day. That is my Musa Seder. A hesped on me. Where I figure what they would say. But I'm talking to guys who talk a lot. What would the guys who know how to lay it on think? Would say, I'll write that all down. I'm this and that. And me Suffolk, I add stuff too. I add all kind of stuff. I told my father that's all. Chas v'chalil, my father. Tzadik Yisrael Dalam. But my father said he doesn't want any hesped. And Rabbi Yosef Rosenbaum was Mishabeach and very stark for that. No hesped, none of that stuff. So I say like this. I'm not saying that for the Olam, just in case the Olam wants to know my plans for you know, my plans are, Rabbi say, that I'm just a different generation. My father said that. Now I say a little bit different. I say, if anybody has any trouble finding nice stuff about me, I'll tell you what to say. I am loaded. I take out all my aspadim. I have tons of aspadim through the years, what I wrote about myself. What I did this, what a tzaddik. You have no idea my greatness, Rabbi say, how big I am. So if you have any trouble in making a hesped on me, I'll give you plenty of material. You could read up on my business. Yes? The Alta's Yotzai.
Shame that Mendel invite everybody to sponsor Shabbos, having to help the Malta. Yotzai and Kislev is out thinking about it. We came to all the years, it's probably the 5th or 6th year, no? This time it's going to be like
Layla.
It's going to be at Gruber's Hall, 8:30 to signs over here. Oh, and if anybody wants to sponsor, there are a few sponsorship opportunities still available. So
starting with 5,000.
We take all forms of payment.
We're being easy on the Olam.
We take all forms of payment.
What?
We take all forms of payment. So if the Olam wants to schutz, there's a little bit left to still be sponsored.
Well, you have just approached this is the Gvirim session of Lakewood. These are the Gvirim. They're all here. Well, I handpicked Gvirim of Lakewood. They're all sitting here. Anyway, Shazayim and Grace Hatzlacha. Thank you for all the. Rabbi Yodman is my chief gabbai. Him and someone else. He's Gavaldig. Anyway, that's in my shul. You know the shul anyway. Have in mind, Rabbi Gruber should have a full. He gives us that place for free. You know that? And he wasn't feeling well. And he told me, yeah, I'm giving it for free and I'm sick, I'm getting worse. I said, 1 second. I'll take care of you. I came back a week later. You better? A little bit. So give another bracha. My covet is at stake. I want to tell, I'm curing you. Rabbi Gruber, I don't know what. Say everybody, amen. Amen. Including anybody who's listening to me. Have Rabbi Gruber in mind, a tzaddik a yid. He lets us use his place. It's kavaldik. For nothing, he doesn't take nothing. Maybe we should give him a ganzer refuah of long, happy, healthy years. What does I? Watch what happens. The whole oilam here will become officially an admar. When he's jumping around tomorrow, hey, what happened? I'll tell him, Mandel's chevra, we did the job, just in case you want to know. We're all up and coming admar. Not up and coming, we're already, anyway, where are we up to? The Alta's Yotzai. So the Alta had such a happy life. Rav Orlansky told me when he wanted to meet the Alta the first time, he figured he must be real depressive because the stories you heard about him, like, alone in the woods, the Didos, everything, he must be one of those. And he saw the happiest person he ever met. He was so, what he once said, the Alta? He packed the whole world. He was once, they were standing in the middle of World War I, I think it was. When the World War I took place, Rav Shlomo Balba gave a hesped on the Alta from Novandik. On Rav Chaim Shulevitz. But 90% of the hesped on Rav Chaim Shulevitz was on the Alta from Novandik. Shlomo Balba.
Why?
I'll tell you why in a minute. He started saying World War I. You can't be masig. How did this man walk in the street and papak the whole situation? Oh, it's World War I. That's so interesting. We're building yeshivas. All yeshivas closed down. Slobodka was in Kremenchug. That's a different town. They were in Gullus. All the yeshivas, but they closed. They were in Gullus. It's a world war, except for Novandik. Novandik was putting up signs all over town. We are being Makabel Bachram now. Please join us. And we have everything we need. Geld? Nobody had money. People were starving. No problem. Just come us. We'll be okay. He once took a Slobodka Bachram. Came to him. He made a deal with him. He made him made a kinyan with him. And he says, okay, you're joining us. He was cool. Slobodka, he was Slobodka. And he said, you're going to join it? He guaranteed him that he wouldn't get drafted. You know that? He had shtick whoever came to him never got drafted. It was unbelievable. Come on. And he had Toshis the Alta, the Malam and Ateva. He was in a different world. He was a Malach Alikim. So Rav Shlomo Vobel tells over. They say to Slabot Kabbalah, he said, you want to join us? You got to build a yeshiva. And they say he went ahead, he was a great speaker, and he did a great job. Slabot Kabbalah joined Nובהרדוק during the war. Shine. The Rav Zaychik tells over the story. Anyway, so they once showed there with signs all over town. Anybody who doesn't report from this age, this age, will be shot in the street. So the Bachram came running, the Alta, they're going to shoot us all with it. He said, who told you? There's signs all over town. They catch anybody who doesn't report to the army headquarters. Wait, you saw signs? Who tells you to look at the signs? It's a true story. Now you want to hear a true story of me? There's a younger man here in Lakewood. You can ask him. He needs money, Shanemo. And one thing, he lives, his apartment is his life. He likes it there, yes. That's his one thing in life, yes. But to get this night letter, you're going to be evicted, that stuff. He calls me up, he's going berserk. So I told him the story about the Alta of Nובהרדוק. He says, who tells you? She says, but they wrote me. So I says, take it and throw it in the garbage. That happened 20 years ago. He's still in that place. One of my mice said, throw it in the garbage. You hear this? It's my mice. There we go. If you're really not geiros, what judges do, I have stories. I told you what happened with me with the cop. You heard the story of the cop? You heard the story of the cop. The cop, I tried to get ahead of the cop. And he got ahead of me. What can you do? You can't win them all. So I was trying to get him. You're a cop, it's nice to know you, but I want to get ahead of you. I respect you, but right now I need to go to school. You don't have to go to school. I'm a Rebbe. I need to get ahead of you. So I tried it and I couldn't. He got ahead of me. Okay. So then you make a turn at 88. You make a turn onto Cedar Bridge. Make a left turn. Yeah, there's a green arrow pointing. You got to make it fast. So a lot of guys cheat a little. Gamani b'seichem. The cop is also b'seichem. Or whatever. So the cop makes his turn, and I go right behind the cop. And I go, oh. He stops his car. He puts out his hand. He says, do you know you just passed the red light? So the first thing I know, the rules in Nובהרדוק is be machnia. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. You're right. But I was following you. So he left me alone. He was a serious guy. I couldn't joke with him. Well, I'm friendly with cops. I see a cop, I always compliment. Thanks for the good work that you're doing. Boy, do they smile. They're like all of us. They need a compliment. The guy with the gun, with the dust, they don't have a gun. He needs a compliment like everyone else. I give compliments to waiters. These shkotzim, they come at chasanas. These Spanish, these Mexicans, whatever, they don't know, they barely know English, Good job! You have a good smile. The guy's, it's chias hamesim. Yeah, seriously, shegets. Jews somehow, Jews are nice. So you get compliments here and there by them. I don't know, I always get, when I say a compliment to a shegets, what's wrong with doing that? You're supposed to be a mensch, be nice to a shegets. Say, doing a good job. Thank you. Service with a smile. I always put in a good word. You want to really get Elam Haba. You see a shegets walking with his dog, his poodle, and compliment the poodle, not the shegets. He's not interested. Compliment the poodle, I promise you. You compliment that poodle, he will never forget it. I've done it several times. The guy turns colors. He sounds like as if you told him you did the best shidduch in the world. He feels better than that. Like, how did you get such a catch? Or you're so. They turn colors. They thank you. They shaykh. He likes my dog. You see, that's where magic was tutzach. For a person could love his dog so much. Man's best friend. No. It says, Pnei Ador ka Pnei HaKelef. So they're Mekayim. The Minchas Aluza held that the Czechoslovakians are Amalek, because Amalek is compared to a dog. Every Czechoslovakian had a horse. They all had dogs. Toussaint held the role. That's Amalek. No. But anyway, being nice to people, you have to have, you have to love people. You have to love. How do you do that? I'm petrified of everybody. I just recently went over to somebody, I kissed them, I meant it. Somebody that, I kissed them and hugged them out. I have your papat. I love you. I'm not allowed to love you? I love the guy. I do. I really, really like him. And I just kissed him and hugged him. It hit him. I did to another guy, and I meant it too. I says, do you know, this guy hates Hanifa. He hates it. The Hanifa, not with me. He's one of those guys that you dare say any, those phony balonies. Don't dare. He's one of them hard, no nonsense types. You ever see them on the ground. You're going to say everybody's good. None of that stuff. I went over to him and I says, now look, I'm not trying to hamp you. I'm just telling you to your face. I happen to like you. I meant it. Then he turned colors. He didn't know it hit him. He didn't know it hit him. Now, how do you get to such a high madrega like me? My father used to do this left and right. My father was a Novandi. He kissed everybody. He kissed my father, was a human. Should have a lichtig Eden. I try to model lift him. I have a lot from my father. So I try to model lift him. Because when in his time, I couldn't get near him. I had no shaykhs. I had to go to Novandi for years. And now, slowly but surely, I'm starting to fit in. He was a Talmuder of Shagor Feivel Mendelovich. And he was a Rizhana, Kipichenitz Chassid. Kipichenitz Chassid, full of love. Kup da rein! Kup da rein! Kipichenitz Rebbe. We're Hasidic. I hope you don't mind. The Olam is not makbid. Hope the Litvish Olam. If you didn't figure it out by now, I have Hasidic roots, and I'm very proud of them. If you don't mind. I happen to like my Hasidic roots. Anybody, I like by the way, I like Litvaks too. Plenty. There are plenty. God, I love them all. Anyway, here's the story. But, my father, there was a Shayitz that lived next door to a house in Far Rockaway, New York. By the way, every guy loved my father. They loved him. He was a human. He looked at squirrels and he wanted to kick their ass. Look how he's eating. Wow. With such a geschmack. Look the way he's doing. His tail is wagging back and forth. He's geschmack. Look at that squirrel. And my father used to walk in the street. The frische Luft, the fresh air, the Abish is frische Luft. He loved Hashem big time, my father. Yeah, him and Hashem was, what he once said? I feel like a ben yachid to the Abish. My father. Everybody has to be like my father and that Naguda for sure. Say, I'm a ben yachid. Now, I feel I'm favorite. No, my father's family, they say that. My Baba was a big tzaddik. She was a big machanechas. What she once told my Uncle Penny. My Uncle Pinchas Mendel, a big tzaddik. She said, Uncle Penny told me, a chakran has a hard life. Why? A guy that lies, he says, one time you said this, one time you said that, you never know. Because he has to hold cup. He has to hold his head. This guy, I said that lie. This guy told that lie. And his life is full of, it's not easy to be a liar. Because you have to hold cup. You have to stick to the same lie with him. He told a different lie. So you gotta, you associate yourself all your life. So there were straight boards. All of the Mandels, Emes, oh boy, get it. Very emistic, all of them. No, it makes life less complicated. That's what it is, and that's what I'm gonna say forever. Anyway, what was I saying? So, my Uncle Penny, what? The bubble I showed. So she was mechanic, and they say that all the kids felt like a ben yachid. Imagine. Each kid felt, no, I'm mommy's favorite. No, I'm mommy's favorite. They used to fight. You could have it. No, an extra pickle, whatever. If I would have been there, a pickle, I would have been shaking. Give me the pickle. I'm joking. Not that bad. But they each one wanted the other one. I want to tell you, I saw this Reb Shlomo Boba in Beryaki. He went there. My brother's a big tzaddik, Moshe Mendel, big tzaddik. I have a lot from him. He's a massive Oved Hashem. I hope my brother to be the number one Oved in Gans Borough Park. Moshe, are you listening to that one? I said that you were to hear. Anyway, he's a tzaddik, a tamer of Boba, that shayach. So he invited me over. He first came to Eretz Yisrael, so I used to hang out there a little bit. So I came there once for Shavuos. I used to come around. And so it was a new modern place with no food. Buildings they give you, but the food's all right. Don't eat. Do eat them. But you gotta eat. So every day they had the main meal of the day is the afternoon. That's when they eat meat. Eretz Yisrael. Those days, I don't know about today. And they had a big, metal bowl full of fliegelach, drumsticks they're called, pulkelach, with fliegelach, not a top or a bottom. Normal chicken you didn't have. You had the pot that they throw at, that's all they had, the yeshiva. So, they used to sit around, Bali Musa. Rav Boba had them trained, and they used to sit around, and they used to look at the, Rav Moshe, have a seat. They used to, so each person waited to see the other guy should go first. But they were eating nothing. That's the main dish. There was nothing there. A little piece of meat, that size. And you normally let him go first. They each waited. So Musi, Yeshiva, Shlomo Boba, Ber Yaakov. Each person waited. You go first. No, you go first. You go first. So there was a chevraman. So finally they all ate. There was a guy that always came late. And there was a bunch of stuff left. He used to take the whole pot and dump it, and he had his fun. All the Musanikis ate almost nothing. And he took all their shirayim. He had triple as much as everyone. Oh. Anyway, but I'll tell you a meiser of Shlomo Boba. I'm speaking about it. I might as well tell you this meiser. It's Kedai. I go with him very stark. And the Vargas did a job on me. I recommend everybody do it. You have a vot in the Pasha? Say your own! I have a lot of stuff I don't tell you. Because I don't know if the other wants to hear my Torah so much. But maybe one I'll tell them. It's half of a fella. Somebody got up. He had a vad. Somebody got up. And he said over Ma'aral. Each bacha had a chance to say his divrei, his musavot, whatever. Someone said over Ma'aral. Wiped the floor with him. Der bacha v'sot ibe gesagt dem Ma'aral. Es kommt dem Mashkante. You know what that means? I don't want to say. You know what they did to you in Europe, Mashkante? They pulled up you. They threw you they smashed you up. I say, he deserves a Mashkante. And he was serious. And the bacha sat like this. By the way, he ended up being the single most chashuv bacha in the whole yeshiva. That's maybe why, whatever. He was a bomb. I don't want to say who it was. But he said, what's wrong, Mara? He says, you have to say your own stuff. Say your own stuff. Don't give me his bot. Say your own. I'm very into that. You know what that does to me? Keeps my brain working all the time. I'm busy with my own stuff. I'm going to tell you one bot, but that's so important. And he said he repeated it, and he meant it. And he kept repeating. And that bacha that I said about him that deserves a mashkanta, he kept repeating it. Don't think I have regrets. And he was the favorite bacha in the whole yeshiva, by the way. And now I'm going to tell you a quick about if I may. I'm going to tell half of it about. Now, what kept Yaakov, what kept Yosef from doing the sin? He saw Yaakov's face. Says Rav Chaim Tzvi Fogel. Chaim Tzvi Fogel said that, what's his father's face? He remembered Yisrael, as Yosef Mikol Bono. Remember that love. That stopped them from all sins. You love your children. It'll stop them from sinning. You want to know who sins the most? People who never get kicked in the garbage can. They have a much harder nisayon, especially with Kedusha Zachar. Because whatever, a person has to be loved. Now, Yaakov Avinu, why did the mama Rivka go to Lavan? Whoa, who's Lavan? She knew who Lavan was. No, that's where you're getting your shidduch by Lavan. Okay, whatever. But I just want to mention something. You know that Yaakov Avinu suddenly went flying. How did he go? Fitzis Haderech? Because he got a good psur. David said, Shmartichem, I'm going to watch you. He heard that. So Rashi says he went flying because you have the seed of koyach, the gvur that Yaakov had is from ruach. You're in a good mood, you move. That's it. Okay, now listen to this. Now he comes to the be'er over there, well over there. There's a bunch of shepherds fighting around, and he doesn't want to. And you can't take off the stone. You can't take off the stone. You need a lot of. All the shepherds are waiting. We can't do it. The Novanig is a Madayik that Yaakov Avinu. He's a fugitive. He's running for his life. His strange country, and he says, why aren't you guys taking care? Why did he gives Musa already? That's the Vardik. The Vardiks took that. They used to do that. They would go in the middle of the war, and they're on the losing side, whatever, they'd go right over to the general. You're not behaving, mister. Get lost. You know, the Vardiks, they picked it up from Yaakov. I have stories. Anyway, so Yaakov Avinu, he sees, so they say, we can't take off the stone. It's a humongous stone. It takes 10 people to pick it up with you. We need a whole oilam here. So it says, Yaakov Avinu takes a look, and he sees Rachel, the daughter of Lavan Achi Imai, my mother's brother. That's my mother. He saw his mother. Then suddenly he sees the sheep of Lavan Achi Imai. And he was mashke, the sheep. He suddenly pulls it off, Chazal say, like a bottle cap. And Rashi says it was super strong. He popped it off like a joke. And he gave all the sheep to drink. Saying, Lavan Achi Imai, 3 times. You know what's going on? My mother. My mother. My mother. He connected Lavan here. My mother. Now, what's his mother? The Rivka Heves his Yankee. The love she gave him kayach. He remembered his mother. Mommy, how you love me. Now I'm strong. I can do anything. Now that's why it says, how come? Vayehav Yitzchak es Esav, Lashon Avar. The Rivka Heves. She's always loving Yaakov. I want to say a diak. At least it's a remez. She's always loving him because that love's going to carry him throughout his life. And I want to tell you, that's why she told him to go to Lavan. You remember me. It's going to hold you in your Shemayim. It's going to make you strong physically. How do you like that one? Not bad, what? It's a bomb. Ich halt. It's just Tatus Emes. I hold it. Whoever holds differently, Kenish Lernen. I'm joking. They say, Chaim Shalevitz, when Chanukah, he got together. He used to speak Breit, Chaim Shalevitz. He said, and he called the Alta from the Vardik. So the Elam used to be on the floor. Whenever he spoke in public, Chaim Shalevitz was so funny. The whole Yerushalayim went wild over him. He was a winner. The Alta Zainakol, Chaim Shalevitz. Anyway, I heard that he said this Barabim. And the guys are talking about it forever. Der was not learned on this pshat and Chanukah, Kenish lernen. Whoever says different than my pshat doesn't know how to learn. He used to chap a lot with the brisket, you don't know? He used to chap, you guys don't, shit. It's good. So good. Anyway. But I really hold this pshat. I'm a shasheh. I was a spal for this. All my pshatim, I daven. I recommend for learning, daven. You want to start your learning? Put more kaiches in davening. The Chazon Ish, they say he put more kaiches in the tefillah that he should learn good. More than the Yegiyas HaTorah, the Yegiyas HaTefillah. Eibishter, do me a favor. Help me learn good. I'm telling you, it works. You ever hear a shot like this? That's tefillah. I forget where I am. How many boys? Watch what you say, Mandel, you're among adults. Learn how to, be normal. You're supposed to be, it's a normal world. You fight them with the kids, 9-year-olds. They're not 9-year-olds. These guys are, watch what you say. That's why, if anybody even notices I'm a little bit, not quite, whatever, I blame it on the 9-year-olds. That's it. I hang around those guys. They say you want to keep young, teach little kids, keeps you young. Anyway, so so as I say, but I daven for that. I daven. Say your own divrei Torah. Say your own. Don't. He said. I can do that once in a while, not too much. I'm busy with my own. You want one more vod? You won't kill me if I say one more vod. Listen to this, I love it. I'm mishtashaya with this vod. It gives me simcha. I walk in the street. I'm like pasuk putting me girsa. Nobody knows that? Oh, come on. You didn't know? I'm like pasuk putting me girsa. My mind is full of Torah day and night. You can ask my wife. I'm always bumping into the walls. I'm joking. But I happen to be very chashiv. I'm not stopped. I tell you, for that alone, it pays to be a balgaimanik. I get so many laughs. I can't always get people to laugh. But when I boisterous stuff, that sells everywhere. They love that. I told you what happened. Rabbaran's Yotzai, I told you about that one. Rabbaran's Yotzai. So I said something about my father's Zatzal was selling books to reform conservative. He lived in Long Island. That's the only business he had come out. So he was selling books that were a little bit not so. So he went to Rabbaran, am I allowed to do this? So what? Parnosa, what's going to? So Rabbaran said, you're not allowed to do it. And then with tears in his eyes, what are you going to do now with Parnosa? Now, I heard that story from my fathers, that's all. But the Eneklach heard a different story. They heard like this. The story went like this. My father, after Rabbaran said you can't use it, my father says, what's going to be Parnosa? So Rabbaran says, Parnosa, I don't know, but good kids you're going to have. So I punked like the second gear so better than the first. In fact, I had a kasha for years and years and years. How did I turn out so great? I was wondering, how did my parents zeicha to me? Now, after all these years, now I got the teretz. Baron's bracha. See? Now you know if anybody. So that's one of my. Anyway, so now listen to this vod. It's half of a fella. This vod is half of a fella. The mama Leah, how does she go ahead and say, Hamat kachna mesishi? You took my husband away from me. How do you say that? Nobody has a good teretz. I'm sorry. And they're all, I don't know. I'd hear anything. I'm going to tell you a teretz. You know what she said? I got my husband through learning Torah. Yaakov wants you. It doesn't mean a thing. I harved through tefillah. You didn't. He's mine. He's not yours. Tefillah is everything. You're taking my husband. He's mine. I'm the one that mushes a whole lifetime to get this Yaakov. He's mine. And that's emes amidah shel Torah. How many boys hold shmek for emes? No? What? It's real. No? It's real. What? Oh, yeah, that's my raya. The mama, what did Chana say? He said, when Eli Akain wanted to kill him because he was Rabbi, he's Chaim Nisa. I davened for him, don't touch him. I davened. And what did Yaakov Avinu say about daven? B'charbi v'kashti. I got Shem with my sword. Zong Chazal, no, with my tefillis. I get sword, so it doesn't mean a thing. Tefillis is everything. The one who davens, daven your head off. I saw a thing the Chazon Ish says.